Best marriage advice from older couples. My name is Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation, and I guess you might consider me older couples. But you know, it's always interesting, and we see it on Facebook quite a bit, where there's a couple who's been together for 60, 70, 80 years, and it's so beautiful. You know, you see the smiles on their face, and then everyone always wants to know, how did you do it? And I love some of the comments, and some of them are just funny. One comment that I heard from one guy was, well, she's always right, so I just do what she told me. And, there's a lot of advice you can get from older couples. Unfortunately, most of what they say is different from how they actually behave. So what I want to do is give you an example of what I'm talking about. So they will ask a couple questions, and they'll be sitting there. And if you look into the eyes of the husband or the wife, there's always this gleam in their eye that is saying, I'm in love. And then when they're talking, you'll notice that they never speak over each other. They don't interrupt each other. And there is this mutual admiration that exists, that is, to me, probably the number one factor in a marriage's longevity. An admiration, not just mutual respect, which a lot of people don't even recognize as a necessity. We live in an overfamiliar world where people have this idea of speaking your mind, as if the other person doesn't count, as if how that affects the other isn't as important as the individual's sense of, I get to say what I want to say, even if it hurts. Well, that's wrong. So when you watch older couples behave, there's always this, it's beautiful. It's like, let's say the husband is talking and the wife interrupts. What does the husband do in these situations? He stops talking because he respects his wife. They come from a time when the expression of respect is not something that is debatable. You just do it. It's a time when children respected their parents because they were their parents, and they learned that from watching their father respect their mother, watching their mother respect their father. This is a huge thing. There's always this, first it starts with respect. If you don't give your spouse complete respect, you're already beginning to erode your marriage. And if you give them admiration, which is the flip side of disrespect, is admiration, then what you're doing is you're sealing and strengthening the bond between the two of you. So this is my point. The number one advice is not what they say, because sometimes they say some really goofy things. I read where one woman said, every morning having sex with my husband is the same as brushing my teeth. Well, what was she really saying? I mean, that's kind of a goofy thing to say. Although you have to admire where she's coming from. But the reason she was saying that is she honors her husband. So his desire for having sex with her is something she honored as well. So there is this respect, that's foundational. Admiration is sort of the next step, very, very important. This is not just for some. You need to learn to honor your spouse. And then the next step is the expression of appreciation for them as they are, regardless of flaws, imperfections. Who among us has none of those? But the smart spouse doesn't judge it. They don't hold back just because they think that it's not cool. We're not talking about someone acknowledging being a bank robber. We're talking about something that is innocent. And you may consider an imposition. Some women would say that what a great imposition. I'm not going to do that. And then I would ask you, what would you rather have? A little bit of imposition with enormous amounts of love and mutual connection, or no impositions, maintaining your quote-unquote individuality, but lacking the greatest benefit of marriage, which is love. When you see older couples, they have gone beyond the mundane judgments. They have gone beyond the selfishness that ruins most marriages. And they have fed into their marital space a tremendous amount of proactive, loving behavior. And that is the key. Don't even imagine it's something else. Remember, there's only two of you in this sacred space of marriage. Why would you do anything other than proactively infuse loving behavior? Just makes sense to do that, doesn't it? Just makes sense. So hopefully you'll be an old couple down the years, 100 years old, and talking about your lifetime of love and happiness with your grandchildren, maybe your great-grandchildren, and they'll ask you, how did you do it? And you'll say, I learned how to love unconditionally. And that's the true secret. Learn to love unconditionally. And you too will have the marriage that everyone admires and you love. All right. You can subscribe to more of these videos. You could share this. Everything is so good in marriage when you know what you're doing. God bless you. God bless your spouse. And God bless your family. Thank you.